morning. Welcome back to this series where I am honestly attempting to prepare for the JLPT, the N3 exam in July. My name is Rabia. If you're new here, let me catch you up. I started studying or learning Japanese around Christmas or New Year's, which means it's about five and a half months now. And to push myself harder and to get to a better level in a shorter amount of time, I decided to register for the JLPT, and I registered for the N3 exam, which is happening in less than 8 weeks at this moment. And I've been kind of documenting everything since 14 weeks left, so you can go back and watch those videos. But if you already know, let me tell you what happened. Let's catch up a little bit, and I've been absent for a week, so I have to tell you a few things. All right, perhaps you've already seen on the community posts or on my other social media, but I had to take a break for about 2 weeks from studying Japanese for various reasons. I logged back into Vanikani after a while. I'm not sure exactly how many days, and it was not pretty. I had 665 reviews. Let's sit with that for a second. Only thinking about it is like mentally draining me right now. Anyways, I had this huge pile of reviews, and for a second I was kind of discouraged because I was also very tired. Let me get into why I didn't study. So a few videos back, I gave you an update of like 4 days where I studied very continuously. Third day on, I think it was the second day. I don't know, it doesn't matter. On a Saturday, I had this group call. That was the day basically our group project started for the past 5 weeks. I am nearing the end of my bachelor's, which means that things are getting more intense. So this group project, it was overall not a big deal, but it was very time consuming and it was a group thing. So I had to be available for talks with the group. We had to make decisions and we had to think about a few things. I had to calculate, I had to learn, like refine my Excel skills and everything. So there was a lot going on. And on top of that, of course, there is some stress from the JLPT. And just 4 days before the JLPT, I actually have a huge exam, which is the last very big exam in my studies, where you kind of have to repeat everything you have learned so far. So you get a catalog of like around 300 questions. It's just everything from day one. You have to work through it and learn all of this, and they will ask you questions. It's an oral exam for around 15 minutes and basically test if you know everything. I've heard that nobody failed yet, and it's fine. But I do want to be prepared, obviously, and there are some things I'm not very good at. I don't think I've ever told you I'm studying global economics and business management. Yes, I am a business girly. Turned out that way. Make with that information what you want. But it turned out that way, so I am studying business. So some aspects I think are actually pretty interesting and it's fine, and some aspects I'm not very good at. So I have to really prepare for that much more than for the other stuff. But of course, at the same time, I do have 2 other exams, and turns out they're both economics exams, so I have to prepare for them as well, and I haven't started any of those things yet because of the group project, because of my other like household chores and duties and socializing and just being alive and sleeping and breathing. As you can see, I am a little bit overwhelmed just by the way I'm telling all of this, but we'll just calm down, take a deep breath. Okay, so basically a few things were happening at the same time. We had the group thing, we had the uni stuff, we had the regular life stuff, health stuff. With health stuff, I mean, just eating regularly and trying to squeeze in a workout, taking walks, going on a bike ride or things like that, visiting my family. So yes, things were happening, and for the past 2 weeks, I realized that the group thing had to be finished before I can keep going, which is why I had to take a break. Okay, I think I explained that pretty extensively at this point, so you don't have to listen anymore, don't worry. What you are more interested in probably is what I'm doing now and how it's going to be from now on. As I said, we have around mid-May. This leaves 2 more weeks in May, I think 4 more weeks. No, 5 weeks? 6, 7, 6, 7. No, no, no. I'm not that chronically online, I promise. It just, that was, someone told me, it doesn't matter. Okay, I think it's around less than 8 weeks. So today is Wednesday already. I talked about this in the Japanese talking update video that I usually film these things on Sunday because the JLPT exam will be on a Sunday. And on a Sunday, it's exactly this and this many weeks left. So past Sunday was 8 weeks left, and today is Wednesday, so the coming Sunday will be 7 weeks left. This means I am between 8 and 7 weeks, and I did not film 9 weeks because I didn't do anything, so we're catching up now. Now the plan is I already thought about this for a while yesterday, and I wrote down all the things I want to do. I am aware that I need to challenge myself, and I want to say this again for anyone watching. Passing the JLPT is not my ultimate goal. It's not to have a certificate and be like, oh, I have the N3 and now I'm done with Japanese. Obviously, that's not the thing. Why I decided to register for the JLPT was 2 things. Mainly, it was to push myself to actually study. Because I had been studying up until that point around Korean for around 1 year. Let me tell you, 진짜 not going well. So I did make good progress during sometimes. These past 2 weeks, I didn't study. They turned into like a month or 2 for Korean. So I did not have I do have still an internal push to study Korean, but it was not like an exam, like a deadline. And that's why I decided to register for the exam, number 1. And number 2 was I am still holding out hope that I may find an internship in Japan. For that reason, I did want to be at least able to tell people that I have registered for this level. But even if I don't reach a very high level of Japanese until I'm there, they might actually believe that I will be able to speak some Japanese. Yeah, those were the 2 reasons. So therefore, passing the JLPT is not the ultimate goal, and it will be alright if I don't, because I will still have made immense progress over those 7 months that I prepared for it. And I have to tell you that as well, I am very proud of myself. I am sometimes being hard on myself, and sometimes I get frustrated and I get overwhelmed. But I want you to remember this one thing, okay? Your language progress is yours only. You can't compare it with anyone else. If you are studying a new language, there are so many factors going into that. If you already know a language that is in the same, maybe has the same grammatical structure or has shared vocabulary, or maybe, I don't know, something that is very similar to it, you can use that knowledge and you will be able to progress faster than other people. Or you just are born with a natural aptitude for language learning, which is also fine, it happens. In my case, I am not that great at maths and not that great at science, and I accepted that. I'm not saying that to limit myself. I used to in the past. I used to say, oh, I hate maths, I'm not good at maths, I can't do it. Of course, if you say you can't do it, you're not going to be able to do it. And especially if you're younger and you're watching this, please stop limiting yourself by believing these things. It's not true. You just need more practice than some other people who happen to have an aptitude for maths, for example. But usually those things don't go hand in hand. There are some very blessed people who are good at both or a lot of things, but not everyone is that, okay? And if you are good at one thing, doesn't mean you have to be good at another thing. And it doesn't mean that you will never be able to learn a language if you are not good at it immediately, because being good at it is only having the right tools and the right mindset and the right dedication. Honestly, that's what I believe. So anyone is able to do it, but of course it depends on you how much effort you put in. And it's okay to accept that you will not have a native accent. It's okay to accept that you will make mistakes. I always make mistakes, even in my native languages. It's fine. All right, it's fine. So what I was getting at is that I am truly very proud of myself for getting this far in even 5 months. And I know that with the schedule I have now, I will go even farther in like 1.5 months, like until the JLPT. So what's this? It's onion, by the way, red onion. Anyway, so yes, I'm glad we cleared that. because it's something I had to also say to myself one more time and not be mad at myself for stopping for 2 weeks, because it's, and in the end, in the grand scheme of things, it does not matter. And sometimes I get hung up on the deadline. Sometimes I do get hung up on the, oh, I have to know this and this much by 1 year. Who said that? Who said that? Language learning is a long-term thing. It takes years and years to get to a certain level. Of course, you can progress faster if you have, as I said, the right tools, the right mindset, and you already know some things. In my case, knowing Korean actually did help. Korean mainly helped with the markers, so the topic and subject markers, etc., because I was already familiar with the concept. It's maybe not used exactly the same, but some things are pretty easy to understand for me. And I also have to say, I speak Turkish pretty fluently. Turkish sentence structure and Japanese sentence structure is almost the same. Of course, not 99% of the time, but it is very similar. So sometimes it does help to just skip the English, because English is a whole different world, you know, like language-wise, and German as well. I'm just speaking of the languages I know best. So those two are very different, and they do not help at all if you want to think about how the sentence makes sense to you. And also, one more note on that: don't overanalyze sentence structures, okay? Even if you come from English and you're studying Japanese, don't think that you, like, I just want you to stop saying, oh, this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't have to make sense in that way. It doesn't have to make sense in an English way. It makes sense in a Japanese way. And for me, it makes sense in a Turkish way. It makes sense in a Korean way. So I want you to be open to accept the language as it comes. All right, and stop questioning things. Stop being like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. And I don't, yes, you may not understand it now, but you will if you accept it. That's why a lot of immersion is very important, not just listening, but of course reading, etc. And that brings me to the next point of what I will do the remaining 7.5 weeks to perhaps have a chance to pass the exam. My biggest problem is that I kind of skipped over the whole N4 part. N4 is kind of important because you do get to learn a lot of new grammar and a lot of very important grammar, which I kind of skipped at this point. So my plan is until the end of May to finally finish Genki 1 and 2, just remind myself of the things I already learned. And then I will watch the N4 grammar video. And I will watch that video because it really, really helps, and I take notes while watching it. And then I will finish Genki 2. I know this is easier said than done, but the point of me having a plan is to be strict with myself and to appoint a certain amount of time each day to Japanese study. So yes, that's the first thing. Focus on N4 for the next 3 weeks or 2.5 weeks. I will do N4 mock exams, the remaining N4 exams on Bunpro. I will look at my past N4 exam from last week's video, and I will analyze what I did wrong, and that will help me going forward as well. So what I don't want to do is just keep doing Wanikani, because at this point I know kanji is important, but I do have the lists I have printed out and I will go through them as well. And I know it's important, but it's not everything, and I have to live with uncertainty. There is no way I will know all the kanji I'm presented with when I get to the exam, and I have to live with that. And it's more important to me to be quicker at reading and better at understanding overall instead of the exact details. And the thing I missed most in the N4 exam last time was grammar and little signal words that will be very important for the N3. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on. All right, so that's for May. For June, we completely focus on N3, and the focus will shift to doing a few more mock exams. I will try to find an N3 book that I can do, and of course reading, and perhaps, I'm not sure if there's a video for the N3, I think there is. I will also watch that and take some notes on grammar, because that is also very helpful. and overall I'm still doing Vanikani. So this is what the next few weeks are looking content-wise. Overall, I think I'm gonna do 45 minutes to 1 hour of Vanikani each day. And about the 665 reviews I showed you, I still have those. I have even more, I think, today, because I only did like 12 yesterday. And it took that long because I kept writing down everything I got wrong just to get back into it and remember. Then we have my daily reading, writing, and listening. And the thing is, I want to combine this. So first I listen, then I listen with a transcript, then I do shadowing or partial transcript. This is important because I miss output a lot. The video where I talk Japanese was the most I ever talked Japanese, and that needs to change because eventually I want to be able to talk. So we do some, either, as I said, shadowing, like she says something, I stop it and I try to say it the same way, or some transcribing, where I take the transcript and write it down myself again, at least to a certain point, fill in the words I don't know. I will probably take this notebook and write down the things I don't know as well, because writing really helps me. Last thing I want to do is the 3 to 8 sentence summary. And that's one of the main things I was lacking so far. All right, I did not appoint a time to this, but let's say it's a 15 minutes episode. So listening to it twice is 30 minutes. Transcribing takes some more time. And then sentence summary as well. So let's say around 1.5, 2 hours, depending on the day, we could do the podcast thingy. So that's already, let's say, 3 hours each day. And then I have a grammar block where I work with the book or with the video. I think I will not go crazy with that. 30 minutes should be fine each day. As long as I keep doing it consistently, I will get to where I want to anyway. The thing about grammar is I don't want to overdo it, because it's more important to be able to recognize grammar and to be able to, understand it when I see it in the wild and not in a grammar book. All right, and then so far we have the Vanikani, we have the grammar, we have the podcast, and the last very, very important thing is, of course, reading. I think I might do reading separately from the other block, because so far it's already almost 4 hours. For reading, I need some more stamina, because it's the part where I'm struggling the most. I don't have like a list of resources right now. I will look them up today and see. Yes, just stick to something. I don't know. I don't have to switch around every time and do research again and again. It's just tiring. But read every day. That's the most important part. And I would love to do it at least 30 minutes. And then we do the same thing for June, just with more N3 material. And as I said in the last week, I have another big exam, so I will probably have to recover from that for a day at least. And then the last day I have to travel to the city where the exam is being held, because it's not close to here. It's a few hours with the train. Yeah. And there will be probably some sightseeing the day before or something. So it's up to that until that day, or until that week where I have time. So it's a little less than 8 weeks actually. But yeah, it is currently 7:30 a.m. I woke up this morning, I brushed my teeth, I did my little stretch and morning workout. Now I have to prepare my hot water for the morning and do my journaling. This takes around 30 minutes, yeah. And at 8 a.m., or let's say 8:15 if it doesn't work, I will start doing my reviews. This time I thought I'm not gonna bother with changing angles, but instead I will put you somewhere fixed. I will put a timer to 1 hour, and of course I have to plug my phone in because it never will film for an hour. Yes, and I will just put you into time lapse, of course. You don't have to watch me doing Vanikani for a whole hour. I'm feeling pretty good now. Today, finally, I woke up fresh and early and excited. I already did some lüften, which you don't know is basically opening all windows and freezing for 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how cold it is, and just letting the fresh air in. It's a German staple. Oh, I forgot breakfast. Oh no, I forgot breakfast. Oh yeah, I have to have breakfast first. So let's journal, have breakfast, and we'll see how far I get, how many vocabulary words I can get through today, and yeah. Alright, I managed to clear off 50 of those, and as I've shown you just now, there will be 89 added today in half an hour, so it's gonna be 703, which is even worse than yesterday. 괜찮아, 괜찮아, 괜찮아. 大丈夫です, 大丈夫です. Yeah, oh my god, I can never take a break like this again. I should have, oh no, I now remember, you can do vacation mode on Vanikani. I didn't think about that because it was not vacation for me, but it was also not, no, okay. It's fine if I go on vacation, I ever remember that, but yeah. Alright, so it's 9:30, and next up is the grammar part, and for today I think I will only do the Genki. I will take another hour for this, because I want to progress as much as possible, and yeah. But now let's just stand up for 5 to 10 minutes because I can't sit anymore. It hurts in places it should not hurt. So yeah, I will do another time lapse and I will see you in a second. This is going to be completely unrelated, but I was just goofing around by myself. Can you say that? This sounds weird. And I tried to do a Turkish, speak English in a Turkish accent, and I got goosebumps. That's so funny. I'm not even good at it, but I just like got, oh, I can still feel them goosebumps all over my body. Anyways, I'm boiling an egg right now, and this has absolutely nothing to do with Nihongo no Benkyou. でも今は作れました。疲れる I'm tired. I wanted to show you some clips of the last 2 weeks, just a few things I did. We finally cleaned the balcony, and it's so nice. Like right now, it's just very boring because it is too windy outside for me to sit there. And we actually have two balconies, so I can show you the other one. We did this cutie, and they are strawberries. We had some from, oh wait. Okay, sorry, I was just distracted by my egg. Yeah, we had some strawberries left from last year. They survived. And then we got some more from my parents. We did that. And I sat on the balcony a few times in the last 2 weeks, but this week it's a bit cold. Next week it's gonna be better again. So perhaps I will film next week's video on the balcony. I posted for the first time on my community yesterday, and a lovely person commented something, this comment, and it made my day. Honestly, I was so happy to read it, because sometimes it's like, I mean, I have 30 followers, and imagining 30 people, I think I only know 3 of them, imagining 30 people being here in my living room and watching me is just scary. So I am so very grateful for each and every one of you. Sometimes you do compare yourself and you're like, oh, doesn't even make any sense. Do I even make any difference with the hours and hours I spent filming and editing? And at least I'm not scripting anymore. I'm just winging it. But yeah, so reading that really made me happy. Thank you so much for that. And I hope this was a little bit of an inspiration to keep going. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I get to see you in the next one. If you have any recommendations or questions or anything, please leave a comment. And if you're watching this is your first time watching a part of the series and you watched this far, thank you so much. Please subscribe if you want, and you can watch the series from the beginning in the playlist that will be on the screen in a few seconds. Okay, see you, bye!